Hey everybody, welcome to LettermenRow.com. I am Jeremy Birmingham. I am in beautiful Ellenwood, Georgia, Cedar Grove High School. This is Christen Miller, Ohio State's one of the top Ohio State defensive line targets in the class of 2022. The country's, 10th ranked defensive tackle. Those things don't matter.
It don't matter. We just out here having a good time.
We're out here having a good time.
Yes, sir.
I'm in Atlanta because I'm going to be at the Under Armour camp on Sunday. You're not going to be. So I wanted to make sure that I talk to you. And that's commitment. You see, this is why all the colleges around the country are interested in Christen Miller. It's about focus, right?
About focus. I had to throw that thing away.
So let's just start there. What has changed in your life in the last year? You went from kind of being an under-the-radar type recruit to now being a top 10 player at your position, a guy that has a top 5 of Ohio State, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, and USC.
Yes, sir.
How has life changed for you since that happened?
Man, life changed tremendously.
Yeah.
Like a lot of different habits changed. Phones started blowing up a lot more.
As we just saw.
I had to throw that thing away. But man, life changed. It had its negative toes, its positive toes, but life changed in a great way though. I'm blessed.
Were you ready for it? Did you expect it to happen? Or was there something that you had to be like, hey, if I want to be a national recruit, I need to do this. I need to do this.
So it was kind of like growing up, I always knew I wanted to be in football. I wanted to do acting. That was like my main thing. So I knew it was going to happen. But it's like when it happened, it's kind of like, dang, it's actually happened.
Yeah.
So it's like when it happened, I had to kind of like gradually slide into it. But now, like, it's me. I'm down with it. I'm cool with it. But it happened so crazy. Like my story is crazy.
So you were a month away from making a college decision. You had expected to make an announcement on April 4th.
Yes, sir.
And 2 weeks ago, you backed off that and said, hey, I'm not ready. What led to, A, wanting to decide on April 4th, but B, the decision to back things up, and how difficult was that for the schools that thought that they might be getting that answer on April 4th? How hard was it for them to be like, okay, well, now you're gonna have to wait?
And I know for a lot of them, a lot of them was kind of a little, sad about it. But a lot of schools, they was cool with it. They want to give me my time and kind of give me that space to actually know what I want to do, because it's an important decision. It's probably one of the biggest decisions I know in our lives. So it was kind of like at first I had it done. It was done. It was a solid deal. I knew what I was gonna do. I went on social media and told everybody that April 4th was gonna be the day. But one day I woke up, because it been on my mind, and one day I woke up and I was like, man, it's overwhelming, and I want to make sure I get my chance. I want to make sure I give myself a chance to actually decide on what school I want to go to, the right school for me, what's good for my family, what's good for me on and off the field, because it's all about what you're going to get 40 years from now,
right,
then what you're going to get 4 years from now. So it's kind of like I want to think outside the box and beyond football. So that was the main thing.
And a big part of that, I would assume, is the fact that you haven't been able to make visits anywhere. And
exactly,
why hurry that choice?
Exactly.
A lot of people in your inner circle and around the world of Georgia football recruiting believe that part of the reason was that the Ohio State offer came in when it did, and that maybe that played a role in saying maybe I should take a step back so I can firmly and fully understand or investigate Ohio State. Is there truth to that at all?
It's true. It's true to it. And I can't even lie to y'all. Like, Antoine, he was always on my head about it. Like, I'll call him and tell him bro, leave me alone. But he'll always be on me about it, because he knows what impact Coach Johnson's going to make on my life. So it's kind of like, man, I want to give everybody a fair shot, especially my top 5. I didn't want to just, be like, okay, I'm going April 4th. I want to give everybody that shot, because I know I waited a long time for that offer. Like, I work hard for that offer, because that was one of my dream schools growing up, them in Georgia. So I worked hard for that offer. And when I got it, it was kind of like a relief off my shoulders. And I was like, you know what? When I got it, I was already set on what I want to do. And it kind of just made me think like, okay, let me give Ohio State that chance. And Coach Johnson, we talked, and he told me, Chris, we're going to be here. He's like, we want a guy like you, and he always showed love to me. So it's amazing. It's a good feeling.
Here's a question I have. How are you so close with Antoine Jackson? Antoine Jackson is a 5th-year offensive or defensive tackle at Ohio State. You're a junior in high school, so he's like 22 years old. You're 16.
Yes, sir.
How do you guys know each other that well, where he's giving you advice and serving as a mentor?
So I lived in Tampa, Florida for a good little minute, for a long time. And when I moved up here, Antoine kind of just took me in his own will, kind of mentored me. And he was like a big brother to me. So I always watched him growing up. I always watched him on Huddle and 24/7 Sports, seeing what he was doing. And I was really like a big fan of them. So when I got here, I had to tap in him. I really was bothering him at first. I was bothering him. I asked him for tips and we would work out together. But that bond grew tight. As soon as I started growing up and as I started getting older, that bond grew tight.
I think it's interesting. So if you look at a guy like Antoine Jackson, who obviously was recruited by Ohio State, as you would know, since you were around him a lot at that time, ended up choosing another school and stayed in contact with Coach Johnson, and then went to Ohio State, which I believed at the time, when in his recruitment, I always thought Ohio State was the place that he wanted to go and chose not to. But now he's there, and it's still taken him 4 years to really be able to be in a position to make an impact.
Exactly.
Has he, the path he's taken, does that teach you a lesson?
It teach me a big lesson. It showed me a lot because it shows me ain't nothing going nowhere. You got to take your time. You seriously got to take your time because it's a big life decision. And you've seen on his process that he made a decision that he wasn't really too sure about, but it led him to greatness though. But it took a while because greatness don't happen overnight. It's a seed that you plant in the ground. You got to wait for that tree to, get taller and bigger. But that was Antoine. He planted that seed and he took a couple of wrong paths, wrong roads, but he's finally on that path. And man, his future from now gonna be great. I think he's gonna graduate with three diplomas. Three degrees. Yeah. So it's dope to me because it showed me that, okay, football is not gonna always be here. And it showed me that, he told me that I gotta make sure I get my degree. My degree is important. So
how has the relationship with Larry Johnson for you developed in the last 2 months since the Ohio State offer came in? And what have you felt from him as a coach, as a person? What is it that you guys kind of vibe with?
Man, like I go in there just being me. We be having fun. We be talking and stuff like that. But Coach Johnson, he's so smooth. He's not that like loud, but you feel his presence though. And he's an OG in the game. Like, you feel me? He the Snoop Dog of recruiting in football. Like, that's why I call him. Like, he the GOAT. I always tell him. I answer the phone. I'll be like, yes, sir, I'm on the phone with the GOAT. But nah, Coach Johnson, man, he made me feel comfortable about my decision on what I want to do in the future. And he made me feel comfortable about, like, certain things. And he tells me, like, we'll look at film and he'll tell me, like, okay, this is what you're doing wrong. This you need to work on. You do good at this. So he points out my flaws and he tells me what can I do better, and he's always been there. So he's a great coach, but he's a great person.
Obviously, as a recruit, you look at development at schools, and when you look at the defensive line at Ohio State, clearly it's been a position of great success, not just in the last few years, but for decades.
Yeah, we don't even got to speak on that. Right, it speaks for itself.
You don't need to even say the names because every single person who plays football, you know the names.
Everybody
you know who they are, right?
Everybody know that.
How does that play into the ultimate decision for you whenever it comes? Is it because Larry will tell you also, he's no spring chicken. He may be he's the GOAT, right? But he's also an old GOAT.
Exactly.
Do you start to look at that and say, hey, I got to get out of this what I can while I have the opportunity? I mean, and is the relationship with other people at Ohio State developing strong enough that if in 3 years from now Larry decided to hang him up, that you would feel comfortable enough with Ryan Day, with the rest of the staff there, to say, hey, this is still where I want to be?
Absolutely, because Coach, I know Coach, if I was to go to Ohio State, I know he gonna instill that knowledge into me, and once that knowledge in you, it's in you. And so it's like he's only gonna be a call away. He's still gonna be there for us no matter what he do, but it's kind of like that's somewhere where you know you're gonna be developed, and he's gonna put that knowledge in you, and that's all you need to be great. He put it in Antoine, and as we know, like Antoine had a great national championship game, and he's gonna go off on this last year and just have a crazy year, causing havoc. So I know that Coach Johnson gonna instill a lot of tools in me and give me a lot of knowledge, and knowledge is key.
Yeah, Antoine is one of those guys that when asked about who's going to step up in the defensive tackle position for Ohio State, his name has been first mentioned. You visited Ohio State in October, right? You made a trip up to Columbus.
Yes, sir. Me and Josh White.
You and Josh White, who's a defensive end here at Cedar Grove.
Josh, what's going on?
I'll see him tomorrow at the Under Armour camp.
Yes, sir.
What is it that you liked about Columbus as a city, and what did you feel like you could be comfortable there? Driving around Atlanta is nuts, right? Like
crazy,
but it's also still that kind of familiar feel of a city.
Exactly.
Columbus traffic is not quite like this, but
not quite like that.
What did you like about Columbus?
Man, the vibe out there was chill. It was a vibe. Like I went out there. It was cold too. It was cold in October. I was a little mad.
It's cold today. I'm wearing.
It's cold today. Like I don't know what's going on, but nah, it was amazing out there. It was a vibe. The stadium was nice. Like the stadium gave me like a old historic new type of feel. Yeah. Like it's nice. It was a vibe. I enjoyed my whole self. And
from the outside, of course, because you couldn't go in.
couldn't. But no, I actually went to the game. I went to the Nebraska game.
Oh, they did allow fans at that time.
I went to the Nebraska
with the family.
game.
That's right.
With the family. So I went to the Nebraska game, and it was lit. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. Definitely did.
Have you been able to connect with any of the guys in the Ohio State recruiting class? It is something that they do a lot of, peer-to-peer recruiting. But here you are in Georgia. It's sort of insulated you. I mean, obviously Bennett Christian is an hour and a half away from you here in Atlanta, which is crazy to say. But has there been conversations with those kids?
I had a conversation with Deshaun. And I'm finna link up with CJ Hicks. I'm gonna probably talk to him on Instagram, and Benny Christian, all the other guys. But it's everything been happening so fast. It's kind of like everybody been kind of slowly hitting me up and talking to me. But I know when official visits come, I'm gonna get a lot close with a lot of players out there. So
you've been talking about official visits. What is your plan right now? I know again you have a top 5. You expect to take an official visit to Florida. You expect to take an official visit to USC. I assume Ohio State. I was speaking with offensive lineman Addison Nichols earlier in the day.
My boy Addison, what's going?
And there was an expectation that you guys were going to be taking that official visit to Florida together.
Yes, sir.
Is that a plan? I mean, you guys have the same kind of schools: Ohio State, Florida, Georgia, USC. Are you guys going to be going everywhere together?
Man, I know it's gonna be. I know me and Josh White, Addison Nichols, my boy Markel. It's gonna be a lot of us going a lot of the same places together, and we just want to get that same feel. Because I know me and Addison, we done got real close over the years because we done played each other 3 years in a row in high school. You feel me? 3-0, by the way. But nah, we done. So we all got that bond, and we all want to see what we like. We all got the same like in all the schools. So
how does it when you look at other schools? And I'm gonna throw Georgia out here, as you mentioned. They're the dream school growing up, obviously in this area.
Exactly.
They have 3 defensive linemen committed in the class of 2022,
yes,
and
sir.
there is an expectation that Michael will end up there from a lot of people. They think that. Do you look at that? Does it matter at all?
It don't matter. But the thing for me is just going somewhere where I can be developed off the field. That's the main thing. Be developed off the field. As much as football is important, I want to make sure they know life later on. Life is important because it's football ain't gonna be here but so much time. But I know. It's only going to be here for so much time. So
I want people out there watching this and listening to understand that Christen Miller is a very unique individual. He just recently went on Twitter to sure he did the whole here's my top 5, but he also went on Twitter to announce that he was linking up with John Casablanca Acting School because that's one of the dreams, to be an actor. What was the movie or television show growing up where you're like, hey, that's what I want to do?
I think it was Good Burger. Then he's a dude, I'm a dude, and we're like that joint used to be in my head, but I always knew growing up like this is what I want to do because like everybody know me like I'm wild, I'm like all over the place. I like to tell jokes, like I'm charismatic. That's just how I am. Like I got that acting feel, and I always used to be restating lines and stuff like that. And my mom was like, she's like Chris, she was like you got the talent on and off the field. And I knew like I had that talent, but I want to go somewhere where I can learn and be in school. So John Casablanca gave me an opportunity to come and be in a 9-week class and be able to learn about acting and be a better actor. And already had that experience before I go to college. So that was very major in my life, and it was very major. I really appreciate John Casablanca.
I would have never thought that Welcome to Good Burger, Home of the Good Burger would be like a motivating moment in life.
Motivating moment.
But have you started to look at other, are you going to find like a real serious monologue? Are you going to be like dropping some Shakespeare?
I would love to play in a show like Power.
Yeah.
In a show like Empire, or in a show like, I just started on a show, what's the show called? I just started on it a few days ago. Snowfall. Okay. I would love to play in the show. I would love to play in the show like Snowfall.
That's based in Atlanta, isn't it?
I think it's based in California.
Okay. You know what show's based in Atlanta? Atlanta.
Yeah. That's another show. Like I would love to play in because like give you that real feel of serious. But I would love I know when I get into this acting world, I want to be like one of those dudes who can do everything. So I just want to it's gonna be the same thing like football. When I first started football, and then I started getting better and started working, and then now I'm up here. So the same thing I want to do with acting is just get better every day, GBE.
Let's look ahead here. When do you want this recruiting stuff over? I mean, obviously the dead period is supposed to end May 31st, so that means official visits are going to be likely to happen in June. Is this I'm going to be gone 5 straight weekends and then I'm going to make a decision before my senior year? Is it I want to push this into the season? What is ideal for you at this point?
Man, I just want that feeling. Like I want to be able to wake up and be able to say like, okay, this is where I want to be at. You know, it's all about that feeling, and it's all about I know like I want to make sure I'm going somewhere 40 years from now I'm set. Like 40 years from now I'm straight somewhere. I want to have a place where they're going to be behind my back and love me as a player and treat me like a player and go somewhere where I got that turn feel, that turn environment, that turn tradition. So, but I know I want to take all my visits this summer and then go from there, because then I can be able to wake up and be like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Well, there are months ahead of Christen Miller and his recruitment that are going to be vital, and Ohio State is intending to be a part of that as much as they can be. Thank you for joining me out here. Enjoyed the time. Christen Miller, Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Birminology. I'm Lettermen Row. Thanks for watching.
Burn, man. He the real deal.
Have a good one, guys.